Hi, I'm Gary White with Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Dr. Johnny Isaacs for Isaacs and Isaacs General Dentistry in Springfield on Bobolink Drive. And today we're going to get a demonstration of some new equipment you have to offer, right?
Special day. This equipment that we're going to show you. It's a digital scanner, and it allows us to scan the entire mouth the way the impressions used to do. We still use them for certain things, but this is going to do about 90% of our impression taking. We can do it digitally now, and that allows us to do it. It's no mess, no gagging, no mess on your clothes or on your face. This is the first gadget, so to speak, that I've been excited about probably in years. I'm very skeptical of new things, and I'm kind of like, show me. I can always. I'm the epitome of a cynic. I can usually pick out something flawed pretty quick and say I don't want it. But this one, they kept working on me. Next thing you know, here it is. So the digital scanner, I believe, is here to stay.
So who would utilize this equipment? For what patients would you utilize this equipment?
Well, primarily for restorative dentistry. Restorative would be crowns and bridges. Some partials too, partial dentures. And full dentures will be very shortly in the short term future. So what we're going to do today, we have Samantha Tingle is our hygienist. I think you guys saw her with her daughter a month or two ago. She was cleaning her daughter's teeth, so we went through that. So now she's been gracious to allow us to. We're going to scan her mouth in just a second. So we're going to start, and then we have Scott Fatizzi over here on my left. Scott has been with us for a few months, and he came in about the same time we started doing the digital scanning. So it kind of worked out great. Scott had some history with computers. He knew a little bit more about technology than certainly I did. So Scott's really taken this thing, and we're glad to have Scott here doing the scan. So Scott, why don't you go ahead and tell us how you're going to scan, what you're going to do.
Yeah, so the scanning's set up in a couple of different formats, and basically we scan the lower portion of the mouth in the area we're going to do the work, and then we scan the upper so the lab can see how the mouth is going to close and how it all fits together. Dr. Johnny would go in and prep the area, and then I would go back in, scan what we've prepped so they could see how everything needs to fit on the newly formed prepped tooth or site, and then we actually scan a closed bite so we can actually get a complete alignment of their bite done. And again, the lab, this way when they fit everything together, they've got a full section, upper and lower teeth, to make sure everything fits and nothing's hitting where it shouldn't hit.
Not only does it save time, effort, energy, we also save probably a couple of days from the time that we take the impression. We just did one about 20 minutes ago, and we already sent it to the lab in Louisville, so it's already there. It beat the patient out of the chair. So they've already gotten it. It's been accepted, been approved, and they're going to start on it probably today, and then it'll get in the mail, and we'll have it seated next week.
Because in the past you actually had to send actual.
Right. Yeah, and the way we did it with the impressions, it was 14 to 18 days to get the crown or the bridge back, and right now we're averaging only about 8.
Okay. So we're cutting it into at least half, sometimes 3 times what you'd have to wear a temporary crown or a temporary bridge. Those things are kind of, they're a little cumbersome, a little awkward, some discomfort with it, but. Like I said, I'm excited about this technology.
So for the patient, it's pretty easy?
Oh yeah. We're going to demonstrate on just a second on Samantha. So Sam, are you about ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So we got to see your daughter's teeth last time. Now we get to see yours, right?
That's right.
Very good.
And she didn't think she was going to be speaking today.
Yeah, and I will also add that, like Dr. Johnny was talking about, when we could do the partials, not just bridges, but partial dentures, it actually, correct me if I'm wrong, it actually saves a visit or two to the office, because the way it scans, we don't have to do multiple impressions on multiple visits. So it knocks out how many times you actually have to come into the office to get what we need for the lab.
And also with accuracy, I assume this
accuracy, exactly. And I was telling Scott, time is money. We charge our fees are I'm sure everybody knows that dental fees are pretty high. If we cut down on time, I can give that some of that time back to the patient. So it's going to work out in both ways. So it's good.
Okay, so what do we need to do?
I just need to get into position, get my scanning ready, and I'll let her know what area of the mouth I'm going to scan, and we're just going to get to it.
Okay, so we're going to get a chance to see what's going on here for the new equipment that's available at Isaacs and Isaacs General Dentistry. And again, where are we located?
This is 39 Bobolink, right across from the Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's right there. And
Right to that
it's
window.
lunchtime, too.
That's right. And then also give us a telephone number, if you would, so people can call to kind of schedule an appointment.
Sure, 859-336-7680, 336-7680.
Okay, so why don't you walk us through this here, Scott?
Sure. So I was just telling Sam I'm going to scan from this area of her mouth to this area. I'll do the lower side, and then I'll do the exact same area on the upper. And I'll be able to show you guys on the screen the 3D image that we get, and I'm able to rotate that in any direction I want so the doctor can actually see the inside, underside, and all parts of the tooth to make sure we have exactly what the lab needs for a three-dimensional model. All right, so go ahead and open out.
While he's scanning, I'll kind of tell what I would do. Let's just say we're going to do a crown or a cap. What would have happened before Scott started the scan? Actually, he could start this before he can do some of his work before I do anything, which actually saves time too. But what I generally do, I would give the injection, go ahead and numb the patient, because you have to numb them when you do a crown. I'd go ahead and give my injection, and while the patient is getting numb, Scott can come in and start the scanning. And then after they're numb, and Scott's done his preliminary scanning, I'll come in and prep the tooth, and that takes about 10 minutes or so. I'll come in and go all the way around the tooth in all dimensions with a diamond burr at a high speed, which is painless because the patient is numb. And after we do that, if there's no bleeding and no hemorrhage around the gums, then Scott can go ahead and start his scan as normal. Essentially going back over the same tooth area that he just did in order to get a perfect impression of the tooth. When I say impression, that's what we used to do, a perfect digital scan of the tooth.
So I finished the bottom teeth, and this is the image I have, and now I can go in and I can rotate that in any direction I need to. I can see the back side, the tops, the front of the teeth to see if I've missed any area, what I need to fill in for what the doctor is going to work on. And then once he approves it, and once we see that we've gotten everything we need for work on this tooth, everything looks good. I'm not missing any places. Now I can just go, and we'll just go over to the top, and we'll scan that same area. I know, I got to mark my tooth first. So it makes you mark the tooth so everybody's aware of what we're working on. And then you just rotate, and we can go right to the next scan that we need to do, which will be the upper.
So what's happened now? Let's say if he marked tooth number 20, which is it's a mandibular left premolar. So I would have already numbed it up. I would have prepped it, and now he's coming to the top to get the opposing model, which we'd have to do, and that would take us 10 minutes. Then we'd have to pour it up. Then we'd have to send it. It just cuts out a lot of time.
Okay.
So
And so does she need to be numbed in order for the scanner to work?
not for the scanner, but for me to do my
Right.
stuff. Like she's not numb right now, and Scott's doing it.
Okay.
Samantha, no discomfort at all when he's doing that. You don't even know it. He's essentially just taking pictures. Each little click you hear is a different picture, the way I understand it, and it fits the puzzle together, and we'll give a 3D picture up there, and it's very accurate.
Yeah.
It is a picture, but sometimes it looks very lifelike. The tissue, especially.
It's like a 3D scanning model kind of thing there.
So now he's got the upper, he's got the mandibular, the lower, and the maxillary, which is the upper, and now he'll rotate them around, and he can get the bite. So it's actually three impressions in one. He's got the mandibular, the maxillary, and now he'll get the wax bite. And I think you can.
So I can look at it, and I'm not missing any data where it's going to come down on that tooth that we would be fixing. I've got great pictures of all the teeth inside and out. So now I'll head on over, and we will do her bite to make sure that the lab gets everything to close the way it's supposed to close.
When we say the bite, this is so that the lab knows exactly where her teeth are going to touch, because if not, you're just guessing. You're kind of flapping. You don't know exactly where it's going to be. So the teeth have intricate detail to them, and if they don't fit just perfect, that's where you'd have to send it back to the lab. We generally have to do a little bit of trimming in order to get the tooth to fit. Generally, all of them do, but it's pretty amazing. We haven't been doing much adjusting at all with the new scanner.
Can you turn toward me just a little bit? Open real wide. And then bite down.
Now it's taking the lower and the upper, and now that he's getting the bite correct, it will ding here in just a second when it tells him that he's got it. Okay. And Scott always tries to beat his time. Of course, the pressure's on. He's not going to do it today. Did it ding?
No, it didn't.
Okay. So since it didn't ding, he went through it. Why it didn't, we're not exactly sure, but he can do it. Did he do it? Okay. I was going to say, you can do it manually and just tell him that you can get two points, any known points, and tell the computer this is where I want her to bite. So he's going to do it again.
So it's working together, then the computer kind of knows what you're trying to do.
And without that, right, we don't know where she's going to meet. Now her teeth are almost perfect. She's a model patient, so still didn't ding?
No, what it did is it went ahead and matched our upper. So what this technology is great for is it allows me to rotate it. And since it matched up her upper bite, I can rotate each picture individually. And like Dr. Johnny was just explaining, we can then do a manual fit.
It usually would do it. My theory on this, why it's not matching it, is because her teeth are too perfect.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to tell the computer, hey, this needs to fit there, because her bite, she's got a perfect class 1 bite. And that's what it is. She's missing no teeth. She's not missing anything. I didn't cut anything. This is a demonstration, but we would have cut. So when you cut it, I would have made an imperfection. So the computer's going, why do you want me to? I can't do any better than what you've got. I think that's what's going on.
So, and it's very simple. I just pick a point on my 3D image on the bottom here. I click that, and then in the blue modeling area, I click on the corresponding area on the same tooth. And just get out of the computer's way. It'll move it and line it up. So what's great about this is, again, we were talking about accuracy, but you could see how quick that was. Mm-hmm. So it actually speeds up your visit while you're here as well. I'm going to just go in here real quick and pull up another scan that we have done in the past. So I could show you one that's been done that
and then you would just send that off and they could start doing the model, the impression already, right?
Correct. I actually while we're making the temporary to go on to the patient here, I'm already hitting send. It's just like you send an email to anyone. It sends this file off to the lab. And I usually, before the patient walks out the door, I've got a confirmation the lab's received it and they've accepted it for production. So it's usually within the same day.
Fantastic.
So here's a patient we did, and this was for a partial upper, I believe.
It was, and let me just kind of see. We did about 3 appointments in one whenever we did this partial. She came in, we did the consult, we did the scan, and we did the bite. The only thing missing is a wax try-in. We don't have a try-in. But it's my understanding that it is back. Is that right? Is it come back from the lab? It's in our labs now, so it's ready to seat. So as soon as we get the patient in there.
So when we do the partials as opposed to the crowns and everything, we actually need the soft palate. The lab has to see the formation of the soft palate, how high it is, and all of that. So this is the patient's upper scan. I'm going to try to turn this to the camera so we can get it better. But you can see, hang on one second here. This would be looking straight onto the patient's front teeth. And then the lab and us here, we can actually rotate it and we've got a perfect outline of the soft palate of the patient. The lab can then rotate it the other way and actually take measurements to how high the soft palate is from the 3D underside, as if it was looking down straight through your head. So it really allows for accuracy that was not there before.
So it's amazing what you can do now.
It is. This is the most exciting I've been about my work in few years, really. We had digital X-rays probably about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and that was kind of new and exciting. Now I'm equally excited about this. So yeah, this is going to change the way we do things, and I'm glad our office has really taken off with it, and people seem to like it.
So you can come on down to Isaacs and Isaacs General Dentistry and get Scott to do your scans for, it's a digital scan, right?
Yes, it's digital scanning, laser digital scanning for either crowns, partials, bridges, and coming soon they're working on the software where we'll actually be also able to do full dentures, uppers and lowers.
Fantastic. So contact Isaacs and Isaacs General Dentistry on Bobolink Drive in Springfield. It's been Gary White for Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television.